What I want to do today is talking about mastering the emotions of prospecting, right? I told you it was the big rock. It's the green on your calendar. It's the thing that makes the most importance in your business. Every time before I come up to speak, my palms are sweaty. Every time I get to make my phone calls in the morning, I get nervous. All right? Everybody looks at me, not everybody, but some look at me and go, man, if I could just have what you have. It's because I've ground for years learning the skill set of it. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to fail forward. And so if you leave anything today, just write down, fail forward. Be willing to fail enough that you can fail forward into your dreams of what you want to accomplish. So today I'm going to be talking about the mindset, and I learned this really from Tom Ferry. I had success in my career, in different measurements. But really when I joined the Tom Ferry organization, started coaching for Tom, big shout out to Tom. Bill Pipes was my personal coach. Bill Pipes put out a Facebook post saying, if you're making $1 million a year, I have an opening for one coaching client. I was not making $1 million a year, but I had $1 million a year mindset. I did not have a broke mindset. And I called him and I said, hey man, I know you probably have other candidates. I'm not making $1 million a year, but I have a track path record to show you how I can make $1 million a year. And he took me on that belief. And it was one of the greatest coaching moves I've ever done, is coaching with Bill Pipes. And then now we've become great friends over the years. But he helped me, again, mastering the emotions of prospecting. So I'm going to walk you through that today. I don't have a clicker, so you just roll with me as we roll. Thank you. Call reluctance affects individuals in many different ways, right? If you keep finding yourself busy rather than doing the calls, you're making excuses for this, right? I get it that will feel like an 800-pound anvil at times that you're picking up, but it's the critical component of this. Even if you're new to the real estate space, you have to carve out an hour a day for prospecting, or the equivalent of that 5 hours a week. That's the minimum, right? That, like, if you want to stay in business. And we have a rule where if you do 2 hours a day, you could thrive in business. You do 3 hours a day, you will dominate in your businesses. And be honest with me now. How many people are prospecting 1 hour a day? Okay, good. Keep your hands up if you're doing 2 hours a day. Keep your hands up if you're doing 3 hours a day. Just freeze. Keep your hands up. Look around, everybody. Look around, honestly. I recognize one in the back, Tom Daves, Success Leaves Clues, #1 KW agent in the world, 7 years. He's going to be up this afternoon after lunch. I see a couple others. They understand. Clark Broom's built a massive organization outside of real estate. Success leaves clues. These are really important. So it's that sinking feeling in your stomach, the butterflies. All that stuff's natural. It's a fight or flight, right? That's what's going on. It's a fight or flight for you. Embrace that suck. Just embrace it and understand that what you want in life is just beyond that fear. So I want you to be bold today. I want you to think about contribution, not selling. Because when we put it in a frame of a mindset that we're trying to sell somebody something, we get in a different posture. But if you're coming from a place of contribution, I'm going to prove it to you today, prove it to you, then it's a different place that we live in. Next slide, please. So believe in yourself is #1. Right? That mindset. Moving that 12 inches from your head to your heart. Getting in a place of true contribution where it doesn't matter if you're calling it expired, you are acting in contribution. If you come from a place of me, it's going to come off that way. It just is. Right? So even though I sound like some kind of animated character today because I screamed so loud during our whole session yesterday, it was awesome. But I really want you to think about this. You have to believe in yourself that you can get through it. You have to believe in yourself that you're not going to die. Sometimes that anxiety and that feeling can make you feel real emotions in your body. That's natural. We all have it. I got it before I came on stage today because I want to impact you and I want to have an influence on you to help you move from A to B to C to D in your businesses. I can't do that if I don't bring my A game. Right? Next slide, Ray. First reason for rejection. Nobody wants to be rejected. It's an inevitable part of life, right? Especially in sales when you're trying to build new relationships. Fear of being turned down, not being accepted is overwhelming, and it can convince ourselves not to take the risk at all. You understand that, right? You walk into a bar and and you're single and it's full of men and women, and you walk up to somebody and they immediately shut you down. Are you likely to go to the next one and the next one with the same enthusiasm? No, it's not. It's human nature. If we understand that, it's going to change everything. Next slide. So the second reason is fear of failure. Failure to ourselves, failure to the people we care about, which, by the way, they usually are the worst critics. So when we look at this fear of failure could be a big deal when you look at your inner circle. Is it your wife? Is it your family? Is it your brother? Is it your co-partners? Is it something, right? So it's a big deal. Make sure you really check this off the list and pay attention to it. Next slide, please. Third reason is fear of being a bother, right? We're over-solicited in this world. Let's be honest. We're over-solicited. It's in the tens of thousands of impressions a day in advertising and Randy's texts and Randy's Facebook posts, right? We're oversaturated with communication today, with billboards and signs and everything. We've put ourselves in a moat. If we could do it, we would literally put ourselves in a moat. We put our house in a moat and put a drawbridge on it and shut it when we come home. We've done that with caller ID. We've done that with call blocking. We've done that by opening the mail over the trash can. We've done all that. This is what's going on for you. You have to understand that you are now one of those people. Does that make sense? But you have to be able to remove yourself from that to be able to get through the failure to get what you want. And so it's really, really important to think about these 3 items of where you might be falling in for this if you're looking through the breakthrough to the next thing. All right? So, next slide. Harvard College professor once said that young people want to feel they belong more than anything else. The fact is, people, if not all, want to feel acceptance, particularly in their circles. They want to belong, but they want to feel acceptance in their circles. How big is your circle? If it's really big, it's harder to get acceptance in that. Next slide. So let's talk about this change. Right? What has to change in your mindset? What has to change in your belief system? Next slide. Remember, it's not about eliminating fear entirely. You're fighting evolution. We have 200,000-year-old monkey brains, and we have to overcome the evolution of fight or flight. It's critical to understand it, to move through and be an amazing prospector, to be an amazing connector, right? If the art of telling your brain is to stop it and reframe that emotion and narrative and make the call, you can control it, right? And so it may need you. I did this to a guy in South Africa, by the way. He's one of the guys that came rushing to the stage in San Antonio at a big build. And it changed his perspective. He is a different human being now from that little exercise. He still has that 10 grand on his desk. He invited me to speak in South Africa coming up in January. So we're going to fly out to South Africa and speak. Connections. It was just a haphazard relationship connection, right? But if you really embrace this and you can reframe it, that's just one of the tools I use to reframe how you can remember that I am contributing to people. I'm doing things for people. Whether it's you're helping them move and find the perfect house, whether you're changing their business model by aligning, doing some things like that, whatever that may be. Next slide. So, ring, ring, your dreams are calling. I really suggest you pick up the phone. I really suggest you put prospecting into your business. And if you do one thing this whole weekend, in my humble opinion, this could be the domino that changes your future for what's going on. All right? Thank you for that. I appreciate it.